Yo, what's going on everyone? This is Jesus with another PPT. In this tutorial, we'll cover the next 5 children self-produced by night.
Round 2.
In the second group, we see the birth of Momos, Misery, the Hesperides, the Dooms, and the Fates. Alright, let's get these veggie wieners on the grill. In a poem titled Cypria, we are told that Momos, who is also known as Cavil, was giving Zeus advice that influenced a series of conflicts which ultimately led to the Trojan War. And as a result, a lot of people croaked. That means died, by the way. If you caught the previous presentation, then you know that Momos is a bit deceitful. After he was born came misery. And in a social and cultural context, it seems logical to place these two dark spirits as brothers of death, mainly because of the relationship they share with war. After these two morons were born, Night plopped out a group of goddesses who, we are told, guard the golden apple trees beyond the ocean. Talk about growing money on trees, right? Unfortunately, Hesiod does not tell us how many goddesses comprise the Hesperides, but it is widely believed that there were 3 of them. In Greek art, they were depicted around the tree of golden apples, with a serpent wrapped around it, sharing an uncanny resemblance to the depiction of Adam and Eve, underneath the apple tree, with the devil as a serpent. Some people believe the golden apples were actually oranges or some other citrus fruit, but we won't get into it. What we will get into is that lesson we discussed a while back about the Graces. Remember, we said the mother of the Graces was a goddess named Eurynome, and we also said she was a type of goddess known as an Oceanid, which meant she's from the ocean. And then we said this means she's from her father's ballsack, whose name just happens to be Ocean. In other words, Ocean was the father of Eurynome. Well, the ancient Greeks believed Ocean was a river that wrapped around the world. So when Hesiod begins to speak about the things beyond the ocean, in a way, he's telling us about the things in an undiscovered place where magical things can happen. Kind of like when Dorothy and Toto were sucked up in a cyclone, hurled into the air, and landed somewhere over the rainbow in the land of the County of Oz. To give you a little Wizard of Oz reference there. If you haven't watched the film, well, that sucks. Beyond the ocean was a special garden in which there were trees with golden apples, and the Hesperides were responsible for guarding these trees, which just so happened to be across the gates of hell, or in other words, across the gates of Tartarus, near the limits of the earth. Some accounts say the Hesperides are beautiful goddesses that sing beautifully. So if beauty attracts your attention, be cautious. Because these women are daughters of night, and for such reason should be considered dark sisters of death. In the previous tutorial, we identified a far-fetched and way exaggerated relationship between Momos and deceitfulness, and in a way, we can begin to see the operating idea of deceit a bit more clearly in the case of the Hesperides. Imagine you see a cute girl from a distance. Then, having set your eye on her, you approach her, and as you get closer, you hear her singing on some Tyler Childers, "So I'll love you till my lungs give out." And wildly intrigued with such a great impersonation, you think you've just been struck by Eros, but nope. she just ripped your still beating heart out of your chest like freaking Rambo. Then she bit into it like that dude from Apocalypto, and now you're dead. Seems a little deceiving. Anyway, a translation by Professor Ray reminds us that the hero Hercules had to steal an apple from these trees. And this task represented a confrontation with death, which is the final task of our existence as human beings. Dun 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 dun. Moving on and on and on. As you might recall from the first group of children we discussed, we have already been told about the birth of the spirit of frightful doom. Please note the exaggeration in this spirit of frightful doom. And now we are being told about the birth of the dooms, a group of goddesses who send the spirit of doom to punish anyone who commits a crime. They are sometimes called the Furies or the Destinies. Lastly, within the second group, we have the Fates. Now, you might remember a previous tutorial in which we discussed the spirit of dark fates. And now we are being told about the birth of the Fates. 3 goddesses named Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. Spinner, Portion, and Inflexible. That's not a word. It is believed they spin the thread of life at birth, distribute a portion to each person, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and are inflexible about it. You're born when you're born, you get what you get, and you die when you die. Stop complaining about your zodiac sign. It is what it is. They are the ones who command the spirit of fate. That concludes the second group of no good greaseballs Night gave birth to. In the next tutorial, we'll cover the remaining 5. Thanks for stopping by. Bow chicka wow wow.
What a sucker.